You want to do in between halves or in between games? Probably actually do first half because this game's almost over, so you should have a good idea. Actually, it just got tied up. Golden caps and boosting. Yeah. I mean, I'll try my hardest. It's gonna screw up my internet a little bit, but if you guys are watching now, welcome to some Week 7 action between who are we playing here? It's Degrees of Freedom and are they still just called Holy Trollers? Okay. So this game may decide some playoffs here. It depends entirely on another Eastern Conference game here between Golden Caps and Boost and Dynamo. We'll go back into the scenarios here once we have a good idea of what's going on in that game. Right now, with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in that boosting game, looks like Golden Caps just took the lead on Boost and Dynamo, so for now, looks like everyone's playoffs hopes are still alive, but we'll get back to that game in a little bit. Looks like we're just about to start here, or we've already started. Shows you how good my internet is. So we got Degrees of Freedom as the blue team here, going with their typical lineup minus beast mode. And then we have Holy Trollers with 2P, Big Bad Ball, HX, and the Tyrant. I don't believe that's their most commonly used lineup. Tag Pro League says their usual lineup is actually HX, 2P, Tantru, and the Tyrant, or some combination of some other people. So far, first minute, nothing much has really happened, although for the first 30 seconds of it, I really wasn't actually watching the game. First round of pubs come up, and looks like they got a Juke Juice and Tag Pro for the Holy Trollers. One of the biggest things in this map is that power-up control. Once you start getting a Tag Pro to it, really changes the whole complexion of the game. And it looks like Big Bad Ball comes really close to actually making a cap out of that situation. Just about a pixel or two away from capping. So, promising first couple of grabs for the Holy Trollers. 2P is going to be in past a couple. We'll see if the blocks are there. Fly takes a grab. Looks like she'll get out. And so we're back to circling around this map. Fly is probably going to get returned here. She does by the Tyrant. Ball starts on Re. No real urgency. A good boost. I don't know if that was intentional by Fly. But 2P does have an anti. Catalyst does a good job staying on that button just long enough, then gets gated. Ballstar does a good job keeping Ajax contained until the Degrees of Freedom can get something back ahead. Fly grabs with a Tag Pro, should be running out in a second. Big Bad Ball is also going to try and sneak out. Tries to throw some jukes on Ballstar, really can't get anything going. Fruitsy's going to be out past a couple here, we'll see if the blocks are there. Doesn't appear that they are, we'll see what Fruitsy tries to do. Tries to hit a corner, does a decent job with it, but just too many people from the Holy Trollers in base. Ballstar's going to try an aggressive boost. Nothing much going, we'll see if the blocks are there. They look like they were there for a second, but he does get returned. We'll see if Fruitsy gets gated. Good return by the Tyrant, and both teams are now reset in time for this round of power-ups. 2P grabs a rolling. Looks like Fruitsy's still waiting on top. It's going to be a Tag Pro, but will that cost them? It will not. We'll see if Fruitsy can Tag Pro lead. Back in Season 8 when I was on his team, really didn't get much of a Tag Pro lead help, and actually I was Season 9. But he does a good job there, just playing some relatively good defense. Turns a couple people in base. The Tyrant grabs, he's out past a couple. Ballstar just running some circles. Does a nice boost, or excuse me, nice bounce off the corner there. Fly tried to get the straight line return, almost was there. But Fruitsy now has a capping opportunity. Can he cut the corner? I think he may have had a chance, it just looked like he didn't really want to turn in sharp enough. And so both teams are reset again with the next round of pups coming up. Fruity grabs another tag pro. That's his second straight tag pro of the game. Big Bad Ball gets out past 3. And then Fruity ends up grabbing with a tag pro. This is a return for Cap here, 4 degrees of freedom. They're not going to get it. It's now a return for Cap for the Holy Trollers. Fruity with a smart position on that gate ends up gating, I think it was Ajax. Still a return for Cap for Holy Trollers. Eventually, Ballstar and Catalyst do enough to get the return. So far, it's been pretty evenly matched. I think Holy Trollers has done better on power-ups, but other than that, it doesn't really feel like any team's really had an advantage. Next round of pups coming up. We'll see what each team can do. Fruity bombs, trying to spike the Tyrant, ends up spiking Catalyst, his own teammate. Then almost boosts back into Ajax bottom. Catalyst does pick up a juke juice. Ballstar does get a rolling bomb that's defused immediately. So if you're on Mumble, you probably just saw Ball Don't Lie's chat. We're gonna go over what that means for the playoff scenarios. I think after this half or between games, it's really not my decision. Let's see. Still 0-0 in this game. Tyrant with a good boost back, maybe a little risky, but it's enough to get his team reset. Big Bad Bull gets another grab. He was out past a couple, but some decent OD from Degrees of Freedom keeps things. Next round of power-ups coming up. Big Bad Bull's doing a good job holding. 2P has more hold than him, but he's done a good job staying alive when he needs to. Throwing a couple of good jukes in there, though he does spike himself as I start talking about him. Ajax has a tag pro. He's going to return the FC, and this could be trouble for Degrees of Freedom. Good juke by I'm Fly returns both of the defensive players. Unfortunately, the Tyrant's going to grab, and he should be past just about everyone. Good defense by All-Star, saves a Cap. Fruitsy's going to need to stay alive for a long time. Smartly kisses. And this game remains scoreless with just over 3 minutes to play. Fruitsy with a good bomb back. Catalyst tries a boost rolling grab, but can't get anything going. And both teams are now fully reset with this next round of power-ups. Big fight for the bottom power-up. Fruitsy comes out on top. He's going to fight for the top power-up as well. We'll see what he can do with his juke juice. It's a rolling bomb up there. He grabs it. Gets defused immediately though, so if that was a tag pro, it could have been some trouble for Holy Trollers. Fruitsy is still going to be out past 2 here, past 3 now. We'll see if the blocks are there. 2P's going to grab. The boost kind of sends Catalyst back, and the Tyrant's able to get the offensive defense return. Ballstar was past a couple, but the blocks weren't there. Ajax managed to get a good grab, and he's out now past 2. Ballstar's going to try and do something here. I don't know what his plan is. I'm Fly is just going to return using Ballstar as almost a human sacrifice there. Fruitsy's going to try a boost. I don't think that's what he meant to do. And now with 2 minutes left, we're still scoreless. Ballstar going to try and throw a juke on Ajax, instead gets straight lined. Fruitsy picks up another tag pro. I think that's his 3rd or 4th of the game. He's going to need to be careful though. That was risky, but it ends up working okay. And now this is some big trouble here. Just barely I'm Fly gets to return. I don't know how that happened, and now it's returned for Cap. 4 Degrees of Freedom. Is the return going to be there? It is not. I'm Fly kisses, but that was a blown opportunity there. 4 Degrees of Freedom. This is now a return for Cap, and some shaky OD by Degrees of Freedom gives Holy Trollers a 1-0 lead. Fruitsy's going to try and boost around. 3 OD plays, nothing's going to happen. And now Big Bad Ball is going to be out past 3 or 4. They'll need to have Ballstar stay alive. If he does just long enough, Fruitsy will have another grab. Good return by Ballstar. If Ajax didn't get that button there, I think he would have got the snipe return too. Instead, the Tyrants passed a few. Power-ups are coming up. We'll need to see what this very last power-up is up top. Fruitsy's fighting for it. I don't know if that was their plan. Catalyst grabbed a juke out of it though. If he can throw a juke on Big Bad Ball, he'll be out past 2 or 3. Goes for the straight line through the gate, maybe a little risky, but it works for him. He's out past a few. The boost, he got it. A good bomb by the Degrees of Freedom defense, and now it's tied up 1-1. So 17 seconds left. Fruitsy's gonna try something here. Not sure exactly what he's gonna try with just under 10 seconds left in the game. Doesn't do much. We'll see if Ballstar can throw an aggressive boost in there. He tries, but it's not going to work out for him. And the first half's going to end in a 1-1 tie. Tyrant with a good first half, 24 returns and a cap. 2P with the most pulled out of anyone with 2 minutes and 50, followed shortly behind by Mr. Fruitsy with 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Pups seem pretty even. I don't have the little script that tells you the team stats, but from what I can tell, it's fairly even. Fruitsy picked up, I think, 3 or 4 tag pros that really helped this team out. Saved a cap or 2. But other than that, it's been fairly evenly matched. Alright, so we are going to talk about playoffs. I'm going to assume the picture's up there. So with that first tie, Booston now has, I believe, 14 points for the season. Holy Trollers currently has 12, Degrees of Freedom with 10. So with that, both teams will need to have Booston lose the second game against Liberty Caps. Either team can advance with a sweep, but if either team splits, so if Holy Trollers and Degrees of Freedom don't get the full 6 points, they're both out of the playoffs, and Booston will sneak in with that 4th playoff spot. So it really depends on the Golden Caps Booston Dynamo game, which is currently happening on Ball Don't Lie stream. I think you've probably seen it streamed or tweeted out a few times in Mumble. So there's 30 minutes left in this matchup between Degrees of Freedom and Holy Trollers, but the Tag Pro playoffs for Minor League is entirely dependent on what happens in a completely different game. So I know the first game ended in a tie between Golden Caps and Booston. Haven't actually seen what's going on right now. Pulling up that stream. Looks like Booston has a 3-1 lead in the first half on Pilot, but they also had a 2-cap lead after the first half of Emerald, so we'll see what happens. I think we're just about ready to start the second half here. Remember, if either team, if this is a tie, they both eliminate themselves actually out of the playoffs. So whoever wins this game is alive. If it's a tie or a loss, that team is going to be eliminated. And of course, it really depends on the boosting game going on right now as well to see if these teams actually have a chance to make playoffs. No changes for Degrees of Freedom here. I can't remember. I think there's been some small changes here and there, but I believe it's pretty much the same lineups. I'm not good with other teams. I barely know who's on my team. So if they actually made a change, I apologize. Alright, Aaron thankfully knows the teams better than I do. He's just informed me that Unoriginal replaced Ajax. I knew there was some change, but I just didn't know exactly what was going on. Fruitsy's going to be out past a couple here. If they get the blocks, this will be a cap. He misses the boost. 2P is able to get the return. It was a tough boost, but Fruitsy should have been able to hit that. It should be a 1-0 lead, but it is still tied with the first round of power-ups coming up. Fly throws a good block. Gonna let Ballstar get out past a couple. Fruitsy's gonna grab a tag pro. We'll see if he can clear out base. He cannot. Unoriginal is gonna get a free grab with that rolling. But this is still dangerous for the Holy Trollers. We'll see what Fly can do. Sitting on a neutral boost towards their base. Fruitsy's tag pro runs out. The boost actually, I think, from Fly was just enough to actually return Mr. Fruitsy. That may have been a cap otherwise. All-Star with some good jukes, staying alive here. All-Star was quietly the hero of the Majors game yesterday once he replaced Jake from State Farm. Looked like Degrees of Freedom turned it around. Hopefully there's some second half magic from Ballstar again tonight. Unoriginal and 2P try and get a 2v1 grab. They can't. Leaves Degrees of Freedom open to pick up both power-ups. Catalyst grabbed a rolling. It was diffused, but he's still out. Big Bad Ball is also going to grab. Gets a good handoff for 2P, and he's out past a couple now. We'll see if they can get the boost. They can't. Fly boosting for a grab. She's going to be out past a couple now. Past couple for a while. Doesn't look like the blocks are going to be there. It's going to try a bomb. That was something. I don't know how it worked, but it did. Fruitsy's going to have to stay alive to avoid another counter cap. It's a return for cap for both teams for a second, but neither team looks like is going to be able to get it. Nice block by Fly. Fruitsy with some good patience, and that's now a 2-0 lead. I really don't know how any of that happened. Catalyst is now out past a couple. We'll see if he can boost in. Tries to boost around, can't. Good defense by Big Bad Ball. Ballstar misses a gate, still is able to return 2P. Fly grabs a rolling from her FC, probably didn't communicate there. It just seems like something Fruitsy would do, playing with them before. Just didn't let Fly know in time. Tyrant grabbed a tag pro up top. He's going to be out past a couple. Degrees of Freedom will need to be careful. Good juke by Ballstar. Second juke wasn't there and he got sniped. But yeah, much more entertaining half so far. We're only 3.5 minutes into the game. We already have as many caps as the last half. A breakdown there by Degrees of Freedom. I wasn't looking at that side of the map, so I don't know what happened, but Holy Trollers just had a free cap. Tyrant was able to walk it in easily. So now a 2-1 lead, 4 Degrees of Freedom. Ballstar almost gets a return there. 2P with some good moves to stay alive. And our next round of power-ups comes up. Catalyst grabs a tag pro. He does die with it as he was FC, but it looks like a good situation for Degrees of Freedom. They're going to be out past 3. Tyrant will need to stay alive. Smartly kisses. We'll see if Catalyst can get a grab. He's not going to. Now he grabs as his tag pro expires. Fortunately, no one really left on regrab. So just over 5 minutes left in this game. Still a 2-1 lead for Degrees of Freedom. It's a decent handoff from 2P. Catalyst gets back in time to stop that. Catalyst picks up a juke. Fruitsy with another tag pro. It seems like almost every power-up he's had has been a tag pro in the last game or two. Now Degrees of Freedom's gonna be out past 3. A good snipe by the Tyrant saves a cav. And this could be a counter. Unoriginal goes for the sacrifice. Doesn't work out as he had planned. Fruitsy sitting in the boost lane. Probably didn't notice it get sniped. Tyrant's gonna be out. Let's briefly return for cap. 2P with a good boost grab. He's gonna be out past a few. I'm fly with a good juke, forcing unoriginal into the gate. Tries to go for the power up. Looks like Pulley Troller swept him. Tyrant has a rolling out past a couple. He's got a tag pro spawning in base form too. So I'm fly is gonna need to stay alive for quite a while, I'd imagine. Diffuses the rolling bomb from the Tyrant there, but Pulley Trollers just had their tag pro expire. If they could have held on for a second longer, it may have been able to clear out base. Those were some massive jukes there from the Tyrant. Holy. And we'll need to see what happens here. Some more good blocks. Big Bad Ball is going to make it a 1 cap lead for Holy Trollers. There were 2 very well blocked, very well juked. So 3 minutes left. Whoever wins this game stays alive. If they tie or lose, they're both eliminated. And even if they win, it's still dependent on the results of Boostin versus Golden Caps. Ballstar does have a rolling, it's going to be diffused. We'll see if Ballstar can get the return. 2P brings him back towards Fruitsy. It's a good handoff though. And Tyrant's going to be out past a couple now. Ballstar does get the return. Next 2 rounds of power-ups are going to be very important here. We'll see what both teams are able to do. Looks like Unoriginal is going to grab a rolling. The Tyrant grabs a tag pro. Big Bad Ball is going to have a grab out past a few now. Catalyst throws some good jukes in there on the Tyrant. Was able to get past everyone, but no return was coming for Degrees of Freedom. I'm fly with a good snipe. Unoriginal is going to be out past maybe 1 or 2 here. Good aggressive defense by Fruitsy. And this will be a return for cap. 4 Degrees of Freedom. We'll see if they can get it. They have 2 or 3 people get gated. And as an FC, that has to be very frustrating. Having a return for cap for that long, just to have your OD get slaughtered. Ballstar is going to be out past a couple. Degrees of Freedom has 2 tag pros to work with, so they need 2 caps. 2 caps will win it, and anything else will not be enough. 2P with some good micro jukes. I'm lagging significantly, so my view is a little different than everyone else's. "17 seconds left. Tyrant's probably just going to try and hold out as long as he can. And looks like with that, the Degrees of Freedom are eliminated from playoffs. Really good comeback. Some really ridiculous caps there from Holy Trollers. Did a great job not losing composure after going down quickly 2-0, end up squeaking out a 3-2 lead. We're going to do a quick check on the other game going on right now. The first half of Pilot was a 7-2 win for Boost and Dynamo, so bearing any miracles, I think both teams are actually going to be eliminated. Golden Caps will need to make up a 5 cap or a 6 cap deficit after this. So there's 5 minutes left in half two of Booston versus Golden Caps. Golden Caps needs to make up a 5-cap lead for either the teams you're watching right now to actually have a chance to make it out. And actually, looks like Golden Caps just got 8 caps, so 4 more caps left for Golden Caps would keep them alive. Yeah, we have just about 5 minutes for Golden Caps to help both these teams out. Don't know if they have it in them. They did come back after half one of Emerald, but don't know if it's going to be enough time for them to make it up here. Looks like the couple changes coming from Degrees of Freedom now that they are eliminated. Beast Mode's going to come in. I was a little surprised he didn't play on Emerald, but that's just my opinion. So Beast Mode's in for Fruitsy, Bob's in for Ballstar. Not really sure which positions everyone's going to play. Catalyst is really the only true one position player here. And pretty actually interesting here. Golden Caps made it just a 2-cap game. I don't think we covered it on our graphic, but for Holy Trollers, a for Holy Trollers, if Booston wins and ties, they'll have 17 points, and if Holy Trollers sweeps, they'll have 18. So I think it's actually possible here if Holy Trollers sweeps. I could be wrong. Aaron, please tell me if I'm wrong there, but I think that it's possible for Holy Trollers to make it even if uh, Booston wins and ties. Beast Mode gets an early grab and an early cap. I'm going to stop watching this game temporarily and take a look at this, just to make sure I'm not completely crazy. Yeah, so Booston and Golden Caps tied first game, so that's a point. And then we have probably Baron and Miracle in the last couple of minutes of that game. Booston will win. They'll have 4 points this week. They'll bring their total to 17. So if Booston wins this game, they'll have 17 points. That means Holy Trollers, I think, can advance if Holy Trollers wins this game. I'm not sure if they actually know that. But a win for Holy Trollers would put them in the playoffs. So excuse the last probably 5 minutes or so of us talking playoff scenarios, because apparently I don't know how to add. As I was talking, Beast gets another quick grab, a couple untimely deaths, get him out past 3, and he's able to cap for his second cap of the game. Aaron would like to inform everyone that Booston scored 2 more times. They're up by 4 now. So Degrees of Freedom certainly out, but Holy Trollers can advance even with a boost in win. Beast mode again, he's doing a great job so far this game. Almost a minute to hold already, just 2.5 minutes in. So Boostin does win that second game, so they'll finish this week with 17 points. And a quick cap from Big Bad Ball brings us back to a 1-cap game. I looked away from my screen. I was trying to add up points to make sure I'm not completely crazy. But even with that boost in win, Holy Trollers will make the playoffs if they can pull out a win. Not looking great for them right now, already down 3-1. But leads on this map can go away very quickly if he can start chaining together things. Ajax tries to corner boost around the defense, isn't able to. Beast with a good bomb back to get him reset. And the Degrees of Freedom now becomes a green team. 3 tag pros spawn that round. Lots of people die. Lots of people die. And if it were not for a good spawn by Big Bad Ball, or no, that's unoriginal, I'm Fly would have been out past 3 again. Doesn't matter though, it looks like the Bob 18 is going to get a cap, brings this lead up to 5-1. So although Degrees of Freedom can't make playoffs, they're looking to spoil Holy Trollers' potential playoff winning spot. Halfway through this half of Pilot, Degrees of Freedom with a convincing 5-1 lead so far. Fly's going to pick up another tag pro. Beast tries an aggressive boost out. And a good snipe by Beast Mode. An original trying to get something to go in there with the juke juice isn't really able to do much. There's a quick juke on the Bob. Other than that, nothing really happening. Fly goes for the bomb snipe. Isn't able to get it. Thankfully, the OD's there for Degrees of Freedom. Power-up's coming up again. Catalyst grabs a tag pro Fly with the juke juice. We'll see whose power-up does more good. A good spawn by Ajax keeps Degrees of Freedom from having a tag pro lead out past 2. But they'll need a couple tag pros to really spark things, I think. Just haven't had enough momentum. Beast with a great grab. 2P goes for the snipe. Unfortunately, hits a bomb, and is bombed all the way back, and Beast Mode gets his 4th cap of the half. So 6-1. A great team bomb from I'm Fly and Beast Mode. Keep this game at 6-1. Beast Mode grabs a Tag Pro. Catalyst did have a rolling. Beast Mode, once his 5th cap of the half, he's going to grab with a Tag Pro. Avoids a couple of people, can avoid unoriginal. Just under 2 minutes left. I apologize, I'm not talking as much. I'm typing and mumble if that counts for anything. Bob gets a grab. Can't get out past everyone though. Big Bad does have a Tag Pro to work with. Wasn't going to do him a whole lot of good. Should get a free grab here. Catalyst does spawn ahead. And that'll actually be a cap. Some good positioning by Big Bad. Stops all the potential snipes here. They're going to strategic delay that handoff. Almost worked very, very well for them. It didn't end up working, so it's now a 4 cap game. We'll see who can win this next round of pups if Holy Trollers is able to get a cap out of this. Really could flip momentum here. And they might, if Unoriginal wasn't going for that power-up, I think that would have been a cap. It wasn't a bad play by Unoriginal, just unfortunate for Holy Trollers that he was sitting through that mid-spike. "20 seconds left in this half. Big Bad's going to get a grab. He's out past 3. We'll see if the blocks are there. Beast Mode's gonna grab. Flies there, but the grab by Beast Mode kind of threw off the OD. Now a 6-3 game at the end of the first half. Beast with a good game with 4 caps. Fly with 20 tags. Ajax, the return leader, with 17 returns and 6 power-ups. So again, for those of you that don't know what's going on with the playoff scenario here, Boostin won and tied, so they now have 17 points on the season. Holy Trollers sitting at 12 to start the week. They already won game 1. So if Holy Trollers is able to complete this comeback, they will sneak into that 4th playoff spot with 18 points over Boostin's 17. So it's not over yet for Holy Trollers. Degrees of Freedom, all they can do is spoil the Holy Trollers' chance at making playoffs. So an exciting 10 more minutes coming up. So we're about to start the last 10 minutes of this Week 7 matchup here between Degrees of Freedom and Holy Trollers. For any of you guys that are just joining now, Booston has 17 points at the end of the season. If Holy Trollers is able to complete this sweep, they'll finish with 18 and make the playoffs. They have a 3-cap deficit to make up, though, after dropping the first half 6-3. No changes for Degrees of Freedom. They'll keep their same lineup of Bob, Beast, Cat, and Fly. Only change for Holy Trollers, I believe, is Ajax for unoriginal. Pretty sure that's what they've changed. I already missed the sub their first game too, so I apologize to them in advance. But we'll see if Holy Trollers can get 4 caps they need off Degrees of Freedom this half. Two P's gonna have a boost grab. Barely has the angle there. The bomb from Fly is able to return him. This round of pups coming up. Big Bad's gonna grab Beast. Played some decent OD. Bob's able to get in there with a juke juice. Some sneaky little jukes there. It's gonna get him out past a few. Fly goes for the snipe, isn't able to get it. But Bob can really juke with that juke juice. It's funny how that works. Really throws on some moves. It finally gets returned. So nothing doing for either team yet. Big Bad tries a sneaky little bomb, isn't able to get it. Neither team really has had a clear-cut opportunity until now. Bob does a great job with the first juke. Maybe not the best job with the second, but he stays in position to get that return. Good sacrifice as well, kept Degrees of Freedom alive there. 2P's gonna grab, isn't able to get out. May have been a cap with the Tyrant's tag in there. And Big Bad's not gonna go past 2 until the spawns happened. So after a quick scoring first half, this game's still tied 0-0, 2.5 minutes in. Degrees of Freedom does have a significant edge here. If I can count correctly, it's a 5-1 advantage. The one Holy Trollers power-up was a tag pro though, and it almost led to a cap for those. Good moves there by 2P, but it wasn't enough to get past all 3 Degrees of Freedom defenders. They'll have to be careful here. Big Bad's going to get a boost past a few. Catalyst goes for the aggressive return, isn't able to get it. And it's now just a 2-cap deficit for Holy Trollers, who also pick up a couple tag pros that round. So remember, Holy Trollers needs to win by 4 this half. May be down to just 2 caps. I think they are now. The 2 tag pros paid off. Now just 8 cap behind overall for this second game. Degrees of Freedom really needs to find a way to get a cap here, just to shut off momentum. This is a decent opportunity here with 2 tag pros. Doesn't look like anything's gonna happen here though. Bob's able to get a tag as he grabs. This is a good opportunity here for Degrees of Freedom. Just not enough to work with here. Still a good chance if Bob can hold on. See if the blocks are there. And instead, Bob misreads, goes straight into a Defender Beast. It's going to be out past a couple here. We'll see if the boost is there. Bob tries to block them both out of the way, only gets one. And eventually Beast does get returned off that play. Beast with some good moves. Bob's going to try and block for him. Almost works out for him. But Bob will be in good position to win that tag pro. And both offenders, 4 degrees of freedom, now have a tag pro to work with. Big Bat's going to try and bomb him back. Good patience here, waiting for Beast to get in the bad spot. Or Bob to get in the bad spot, I'm sorry. Bob is going to be out past 2. We'll see if the blocks are there. He's probably going to try and split him. It's not there. Cat leaves himself open to get sniped. I think he meant to take the boost, just missed it by a couple of pixels. We'll see if Beast can help Bob out. Does temporarily, but it's not enough. And Big Bat's going to be out past a few here. Catalyst going to go for the snipe. Doesn't get it initially, doesn't get ahead though. Ajax is going to have a tag pro to work with. Cat does grab a rolling. But this is not a good situation. 4 degrees of freedom here. Cat with a good grab and a good kiss. 2P gets a grab, free grab. Bob with some good jukes to smartly neutralize that situation. 3.5 minutes left here. Fully Trollers need to win this game by 4. So only a couple of caps to go for him. We'll see if the blocks are here for Beast Mode. They are. And that's going to hurt Holy Troller's chances here. So Beast Mode's first cap of the half, 5th of the game here on Pilot, gives Degrees of Freedom a 3 cap lead now? Yeah. No, 2 cap. I'm sorry. This may be returned for cap. Almost. Bob really tried to thread the needle there. Wasn't much he could do, but he made a good effort there. Nothing doing for Beast. We'll see if Bob, I don't know how he just managed to split them there. He's going to be out past 3 long plays there, though. Good work by Ajax and the Tyrant. That was one of the most ridiculous splits I've ever seen from Bob. No tag pros this round of power-ups, so Holy Trollers will need to get some just based on teamwork alone. Catalyst with a Juke Juice on D is really going to hurt their chances. Beast is going to get forced into a grab. Doesn't enough to stay alive for a second. Just under 1 minute left now. Looks like Holy Trollers will need 3 more caps. The aggregate right now is 7-5. We'll see if they can get some out of this. They do have a tag pro and a rolling to work with. I think they are. Beast tries to get the aggressive. So now just a 1 cap game, but Holy Trollers needs 2 more caps to win, and 2 more caps to make the playoffs. Big Bad's gonna get a grab. He's out past 20 seconds left. They're probably gonna have a bomb play here. Bomb play doesn't work, but it does get fly ahead and out with a grab. 15 seconds left now. Down to 10 seconds. We'll need some magic from Holy Trollers. Be Smartly is gonna hide in the corner. And that should end this game. 3-1 for the second half. That's an aggregate of 7-6 in favor of Degrees of Freedom. So these two teams split and consequently ruined both their teams' playoff chances by splitting. Overall, a very good game to watch. And if you really want to see, stats are already submitted. So, Cat, I don't know how he does it that quickly. I'm not going to question it. But 2 very evenly matched games. Holy Trollers pulls out a comeback win the first game on Emerald. And Degrees of Freedom's able to just barely hold on in the second game on Pilot to split. So that's all I have to say. Aaron probably has some comments, but he's muted. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Aaron says very good games. So